Hello and welcome back to the CrossFit Harold podcast, episode number 51. Can you believe it? One away from a full year. I'm excited as you are. You're probably not excited, but anyway. I thought it'd be very relevant today to speak to you listeners, regardless of whether you are a member of CrossFit Harrow or you have been to us in the past, you know me personally. But this is more about your fitness and what you're going to do with it from now. Okay, so group stuff for some is going to be happening. The gyms are going to be reopening, but what are you going to do differently from last time? So most gyms have probably been shut for a whole year. We've been shut for 9 months out of 12. And gyms are going to reopen on the 12th. But what are you as an individual going to be doing very different from last time? What have you learned over this year worth of compromised training, let's say? Some have adapted to compromised training really, really well, and some haven't. And we have to be open and honest about that because, we have to identify that some of us are going to feel like we're going to be starting all over again, and that's absolutely fine. There are no expectations from anyone apart from the expectations that you have on yourself. I'll be quite frank, no one gives a fuck about you and your fitness apart from how you feel about it, okay? And it has to be progressive. So going back into fitness, regardless whether you're doing CrossFit, Zumba, dance, Pilates, whatever it is that you're going to do, there is a lot of us have got so much stored energy because we've been contained into our houses that you're going to go like 100 miles an hour and throw yourself nosedive in at the first thing that you can for your fitness. And that might be your group class, that might be your dance stuff, that might be your personal training sessions, that whatever it might be. But actually, I'm telling you, don't. And I don't think it's a very sensible idea. Now, the last few podcasts that we've been, spoken about, and in quite a lot of them actually, I've always spoken about longevity. And one of the things that myself and the team have decided to do at CrossFit Harrow is really try and push that for longevity amongst how the people that we can impact the most, and they're the people that we see in person within our four walls. And also something that we're planning is that trying to relate that message to everyone. Because we all know that we live in a society that everything is quite instant, and that includes our fitness. So what a lot of you are going to do, and I'm going to make this statement quite bold, take it how you want it, I don't really care, but I'm going to say exactly how it is. A lot of you are going to go rejoin gyms, and you're going to have this like fucking buzz for like 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden you've completed it and you lose your shit, and it's not enjoyable anymore. You've got no results, and in your head you're like, I'm training for summer because you think that you're going to be able to go on holiday for the summer, blah blah blah. But actually you've not learned anything because that's what you've fucking done for the last 10-15 years. Now that can happen in a CrossFit gym. If you're that person that goes into a CrossFit gym, and I've openly had conversations with people about this, and this is why I want to, and my brand that I've built and that we've built as a team, we want to re-educate the industry and the people that we can, that actually you can't complete it just like that, and we have to go through a different level of understanding. We need to understand the reasons as to why we're doing it. If there's workouts that are written out, we need to identify exactly how we're going to approach it. I've been teaching for a long time. I would have said I've taught thousands of people over the last 6 years of CrossFit, as in owning the CrossFit facility, starting from scratch. Been in fitness for a very long time. I have interacted with a lot of people, and a lot of people do not understand the reason they're doing it. Their reasoning behind doing it is because they want to lose weight, they want to gain muscle, they want to do this. But quite frankly, that is the main goal, and there is no doubt about that. But actually, eventually, that goal changes direction, and the ultimate goal for a lot of people, we've identified that's happiness. But I actually want to put this on people, and this is maybe my own projection, and I might be wrong for this, and I think it's fitness. People do want to feel fit, especially moving into that CrossFit environment. Yes, there are those goals of losing weight, etc., putting muscle mass on, looking lean, look good naked, etc. But actually, at the same time, you want to feel fit. You want to feel fit for your children. You want to feel fit. You want to feel like the fittest person in the room. And it's quite a pride thing, to be able to, do X amount in certain time and blah, blah, blah. And people go, oh, fuck, I didn't realise that you had that about you. Didn't realise you had that in your wheelhouse. Now, A lot of us, and again, I will be quite open in saying this, and this is something that I've identified. Um, it's probably not impossible. Um, it's probably not impossible what you want to achieve. Uh, it's probably not. In fact, it isn't impossible. But you don't want to do the hard shit. You really don't. You like the idea of it, but want to take the steps in between. Going back to the point I was making earlier with regards to going to a gym and getting lost, you can also do that in a CrossFit gym, because walking into a CrossFit gym, regardless of what one, you learn you learn the movements that you need. You started to improve on these movements, and all of a sudden, in your head, you've completed it. You know how to do X, Y, and Z, and all you want to do now is come in and smash yourself. And that's not how it works. That is absolutely not how it works. I'm currently listening. Well, actually, we just recently started this. It's a book by Ben Greenfield. It's called Beyond Training, and there's a lot of stuff that I can relate to, because I know there's a lot of mistakes in there that I made, and I'm sure you can too. So if you ever get the chance, read that, Ben Greenfield's Beyond Training. But he says something very, very interesting, and he says you can't train yourself fit. Leave behind the exhausting pursuit of exercise for the sake of exercise, and instead focus on the beautiful balance between health and performance. And that resonates with me so much. We are all in this pursuit of training yourself fit. I'm going to train Monday to Friday so I can fuck myself up over the weekends. I'm going to train 4 days a week, and I'm going to rest on Sunday. I'm going to train 5 days a week, and I'm going to have a cheat day because I act like I'm a fucking dog and I need to treat myself with treats. You can't train yourself fit. Okay, now that sounds a little bit strange, but try to understand what I'm saying. You can't just go into workouts just exercising for the chase, that pursuit of just exercising to say, I do CrossFit, I do boxing, I do Zumba, I do Pilates. That's not going to make you fit. Fit is understanding the correlation between your health, and there's a lot of indicators there, your sleep, your stress, your sugar intake, all those things, and within relation to performance. Now, with regards to performance, if you understand the task that is ahead of you, then absolutely put those two together and you're going to get an optimum result. Sometimes less is more, because you're actually taking out the complicated stuff and you're keeping things nice and simple in order for you to perform. So what are your thoughts on fitness? What are you going to do differently this time around? For us, we are going to change, or we are going to try and change the narrative. We are going to try to educate you guys that walk through the door, and even on the social media front, we're just putting that stuff together now, which is taking a little bit of a while, to be able to understand that process of health and performance. And it comes at a cost. And yes, sometimes there can be a financial cost of things, but I'm talking about a cost of losing your ego and starting fresh. And that is so hard for a lot of us to do, because we've done things once or twice, we've done things in the past, we know that we can do it. You may not have understood at the time that you could do it, or why you were doing it, but now coming back, there's going to be people, and I've seen it in the flesh, coming back to fitness. It's very clear to see the direct correlation between people who have been doing something over quarantine, or quarantine is a stupid word to use, over lockdown, and those who haven't. And you can't expect to go into it full steam ahead. Training has to be progressive. There has to be a progressive overload. And that doesn't necessarily have to be with resistance in terms of weights. That can be aerobic. You don't have to go and smash yourself out with, 3 long runs every single week. You don't have to do interval training every single day. But actually, the beauty within art of the CrossFit programming is that if it's done properly, it will give you the full, well-rounded approach to training that you need. And there are days where you will do aerobics-based stuff. There are days where you will work in that interval-based thing. And another thing that I picked up in this audiobook, and I think is very relevant to a lot of people, and it goes back to saying that you want to be fit but not doing the hard stuff, is that a lot of us work in that training zone 3. So enough for us to get our heart rate elevated, but not enough for us to kind of hurt. And actually, looking over the last couple of years of training and observing people, I think a lot of people are in that because they don't want to understand how to approach training in a bit of a different manner. So What are you going to do different? Are you going to open your ears? Are you going to open your mind to a new style? You're still going to gain, you're going to gain more than what you gained before if you take this approach. Or are you just going to go straight in? I'm going to smash out 5 days. I'm going to do my leg split, my up and arm, or back and arms and chest and whatever. If that's you, cool. Then maybe you shouldn't be listening to this because you've done it. You know it. It works, and you've done the same thing repeatedly and look the same and have the same results and still not happy. Maybe it's not for you. Think about how you want to progressively improve over the next 12 months. You're not going to improve over the next 12 months in your first month back to training. We are talking about longevity. Most of us, I don't know, so I'm assuming grandkids, children, you want to be around for them. You want to be living life to, your full potential. What is the point of being fucking 50, 60 years of age and you can't get off your chair? There's an impingement in your hip that you've not treated. There's an impingement in your shoulder you've not treated. If you've got an injury, go and address it. Because that is going to be a limiting factor to your fitness. You can only get as fit as that limiting factor. One thing I can speak from experience of, I've had some niggles and I'm addressing them. And the reason I have maybe not performed as well as I would like to in certain things this year in terms of my own fitness is because they have taken longer to recover and they've taken longer to heal. And I've ignored some stuff and I've been ignorant with others, and you pay the price. And this is why I'm telling you, if those are things that are limiting factors, then address it. Don't think, I'm just going to out-train it, because you can't. Just like you can't train yourself to be fit, you can't out-train your injury. If you're wondering why I sound like I've got COVID, I don't. Hay fever, by the way, I should have told you this at the beginning of the podcast. I've actually stayed COVID-free for a whole year. Sun comes out on Monday, and boom, I should have taken a pollen vaccine. Can't believe they still don't have one. Anyway, going back to training, touch base with yourself. Write down exactly what it is that you want to achieve. And I don't think people should have 3-month goals now. I think people should now look at 6 months and 12-month goals. There is one person in particular, probably listening to this podcast, and I won't mention any names, but she has been an absolute role model for a lot of people who has set herself a long goal. And she knew that it wasn't a quick fix. And she has just worked for that and chipped away at every single day. And if you're listening, I'm very, very proud of you, and so are the team. And you are an example to others in terms of setting yourself a long-term goal and just day by day, no matter how you feel, good or bad, just achieving it. And do you know what? If there are days where you feel like you can't give it 100%, you've still given it everything that you had for that day. And I think that's outstanding, because the attitude is on a long-term process and not what can I change, what can I fix today to try and have a result tomorrow. It hasn't been that. It's been what can I change today to have a consistent result moving into the next day so I can follow on from and I can improve. And I think that's admirable. A lot of us get lost in this whole world of, just because you buy yourself new fucking workout trainers, you think you're going to perform better, or you take a new supplement or whatever. Be smart with your training going back. You're not going to improve if you don't listen to the advice that is around you, albeit there is some shit advice out there. We know that. And I've told you, if you hear these things, report that advice. Tell that person, you call bullshit, tell him it's bullshit. And I've got no qualms in doing that on social media. I will just report it as spam, because I don't think it should be out there. You've got people saying if you rub your cheeks fucking 10 times, you'll get rid of, your fucking something on your skin, or if you rub your face with if you tap underneath your chin 10 times a day, you'll get rid of your double chin. Like, come on, people, we have to fucking step up to this stuff, because otherwise the world's fucked already as it is. So address your fitness. Where can you make some changes in your mindset? And for a lot of you, it'll probably be failure. It's going to be maybe workouts that spit you out. You're going to think, fuck, I actually need to listen, because I'm not going to get any better. You're going to do workouts, especially if you're in the CrossFit Harrow environment of what I'm going to be putting forward for the next few months. You're going to shit, I think it's about time I do listen. And I'm not saying you guys that listen to me right now, don't take this personally. I'm not aiming at you. This is nothing in particular. I'm generalizing here. That things have to be done differently. If you're going, and if you're going into workouts and you're not getting the most out of it, you're not finishing workouts, you're not listening to the stimulus of workouts, why are you training? What are you training for? Identify that. Because if you can identify that you're training for aesthetics, as an example, then some of the workouts that you're doing are probably not going to help you, and you need to establish your baseline, which is your nutrition. And we always fast forward that, and that's something that we're talking about in the next couple of weeks. CrossFit redefined that. They defined what what fitness was. Health should be at the bottom of your, nutrition should be at the bottom of this pyramid. And after that should be metabolic condition. I think the next one after that is gymnastics. But what a lot of us do, we fast forward, we skip nutrition, we go to metabolic conditioning, which for most of us listening, that is, where the easiest way to describe that is workouts on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very easy, 10 being very difficult, are like 7, 8, 9. They're ones that generally last between 6 to 15 minutes, and your heart rate or your zone 4, not 5, because they don't have to be max effort every time. Okay, a mixture between aerobic and anaerobic training. Then you've got gymnastics. You've skipped that because we say, I want to get a pull up, I want to learn this, but we don't, because sometimes there'll be workouts and we're like, I just want to get the workout and I want to smash the workout. And then we fast forward to weightlifting. So we've missed out nutrition. We smash out metcons, we train for the sake of exercising, we exercise for the sake of exercising, and we like to just lift barbells and get strong. And out of the 5, the top one is sport. Not a lot of us play sports outside of the gym, which for me, I think is very important. As I've got older, I've definitely tried to play a lot more sports outside the gym. And it's something that I continue wanting to do, whether that be cycling, tennis, even frisbee is fucking fun. And it's different. It's a different environment, different stimulus. But as an example, swimming is also good. Okay, so level that playing field for yourself and fix your shit by fixing your nutrition, because that will be another limiting factor. If you don't sort that out, you'll never be in the condition that you want to be in. And if that is an aesthetic condition, well, you're fucked if you don't sort out your nutrition. And if that's a metabolic, performance-based, you are never going to perform better than what you put in your body. You can't out-train that. Now, I've gone on a little bit of a rant. I feel like this is a bit of a ranting thing today, but I really want you guys to knuckle down. Fix what identify to yourself what you want out of the next few months of training. Don't make the same mistake that you made in the past. Don't give it everything for 3 months. Don't feel like you've got to train 5 days a week, 6 days a week on 6 hours sleep. And there'll be people out there that say, oh, you can do that. Don't listen to them. Fuck them. You're not them. It's different for everyone. Okay? It's realistic. The same way that I'm telling you that 1,000 calories is not realistic for you to survive off. But some dickhead out there will tell you, oh no, you've got to be in a deficit. You've got to have 1,000. Fuck them. It works for them. Let's see what their insides are like. Let's see how long they live for. Okay? You have to do what works for you, and it needs to be realistic, and it needs to be sustainable. And there is no rush to that. Okay? Anything that is worth doing, there is no shortcut. There is no secret. It's just a repetitive. It is a repetitive approach to doing it. It's just pure consistency. Okay? We have got goal reviews for CrossFit Harrow members. You guys who have been asked to book in your goal reviews, do it. We want to identify what your next 3 to 6 to 9 months are. I know I mentioned about 3 people shouldn't have, but some people might. Okay, we want to map that out for you. We want to help you. Longevity. You might even want to think about what you want to do next year in terms of training. Do you want to challenge yourself in some form of biathlon, triathlon? You want to do a race of some sort. Think about these things, these markers that you want to place on yourself. Don't just turn up to exercise for the sake of exercise. Find that beautiful balance between health and performance. Go and listen to the Audible book that I just told you about. Ben Greenfield, Beyond Training. That is something that I think will relate to a lot of you. My time here is done. Next week is 52, a whole year. And I'm just as excited for that one as I've been excited every single week. See you guys soon.